And good morning and welcome to the early morning Sunday show. Cat's sleeping still. That's really weird. He did look up, so he's not dead. That's good to know, but we may not have a co-host today. But speaking of the co-host, look at that. This is what happens when you try to give medicine to your cat and put it into their mouth. Now that's from his it happened on last Tuesday. His claw, he's declawed on the front, but he has his back claws, and somehow he got them up there. And I had long sleeves sweatshirt on, and that much, it was just bleeding. Man, it was bad, bastard. But usually we try to mix it with his food. But if you can get it in better, right directly in, it seems to work more effectively. Keeps the snot out. So today's opening was brought to you by my son's car. He has a Tesla. And I guess the Tesla does concerts for you. Yeah, it's kind of scary, isn't it, that the cars do that kind of stuff? It's beyond me. He let me drive it, when we were out in Denver. Baby has pickup, I gotta say that. Man, that thing, you hit that gas and away you go. No, you hit that electricity and away you go. Can't say gas, but it was just, what the hell, son? Okay, it does own things. I guess it can do other tunes too, so yeah, thank you, Tesla. And I'm inserting pictures of my grandson because I love you, Aiden. I want to call out a channel, and it's the VC channel is Radio Wasteland. It is my local channel here, Jim Gleason, Radio Wasteland. He's doing this fascinating series where he's using AI technology to to do album reviews. And so he takes an album, puts it into this AI, he has some program, and then the computer does a review on the album. It's crazy. It's pretty funny. It's interesting. Take a look at that, Radio Wasteland, and he's done a couple of these now, including David Hasselhoff. So it's interesting, really interesting. So you never know. You never know. And final thought, I want to thank Chris, my nephew Chris. His VC channel is Blues Guy Vinyl. He lives up in Calgary. He's my VC nephew, but he sent me a gift. The gift was minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit weather. You bastard. You could send vinyl, but no, instead, he sends me that stuff out of Canada. Finally had the big cold snap, so you knew it was going to happen, but Chris, every time I walk on that, I think of you, so way to go. Okay, let's talk some records now. And I did it. I bought the group that everyone seems to talk about, but I haven't. Not everybody. Vinyl Richie's never talked about them, and a few others, but quite a few have. And it is the group that has more Z's in their name than any other one. And I dare you, I will challenge you, please find me a group with more Z's in their name than this one. Maybe that's a thread. That could be a thread. Groups with Z's in their name. I probably won't do it, but there it is. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, or as I like to call him, King Giz. Now, my buddy down in Australia, Mike in Australia, his channel's name's Ben Rankin. Don't let the first name fool you. We know it's Mike. But Ben Rankin's gone through, he's done 3 parts already on King Gizzard. And the reason why is, think about this. They formed in 2010. Since 2010, they've put out 23 studio albums, 14 live albums, 3 compilations, 3 EPs, and they've done a Partridge in a Pear Tree. That is just insane output. That's just like these creative juices flowing, going nuts. Their music is psych, garage, prog, metal, whatever. They probably do, there's no doubt that they do folk music. I'm sure they do bagpipe. It's whatever comes to their mind, they seem to be doing it. They started as just an informal jam band. But they began going, they began talking, said, let's do this for real. So one member, he said, you know what, let's call ourselves Gizzard. Let's name him Gizzard. Very exciting name. But another one, he was really like Jim Morrison. He goes, no, let's call ourselves King Lizard. Just a tribute to Jim Morrison. So they compromised, because that's what we do unless you are in the House or unless you're in Congress here in the United States. Then you don't have to, but otherwise you compromise. And so we came up with King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. So, yeah. This album here, Teenage Gizzard, came out in 2020, but it was recorded from 2010 to 2011. And this comes on very nice, very interesting vinyl. And there's a variety of these. And for my friend Abby, there's this, she got one of these that has, this comes out, and then you have, look at that. Isn't that neat? And Abby, there it is, in case you haven't seen that. She has one that's not as cool, I guess. So, and then it goes back in. You just have to be careful to not, as I'm already screwing up his bones. So, so the music on here, this is more, it's surf, psych out rock, I would say. There's a lot of cool jangly guitars happening, and just, it's garage rock. Really, really fun stuff. The kind of stuff that I get into. Where do you go to buy a King Gizzard? I mean, and I appreciate people give me hints. I need to write more of them down so I can remember, because when you put out 23 studio albums, it's a little overwhelming. I'm going to try and play a sample, but supposedly they block these. We'll find out. So if you don't hear any music, that's why. But there it is, my first King Gizzard. It is Teenage Gizzard. And if you like more of the surf type sound, this is a good one for you. Now, let's get into an album from a group that I'm not going to, I can't pronounce it. And, well, we're going to try, of course. And Les Rosales de Nudes, the Oz tapes. I can say the Oz tapes. It is a three-piece group out of Japan, out of Tokyo. And it was formed in '67 by Takashi Muzutani. Someone showed this. And I'm going to say, Jeff, was it you again at JP Yokohama Papa? Possibly. Sean, I don't know. Somebody showed this, because I just wouldn't really come up. I don't think I would find this by myself. Oh, you never know. This is it's psych rock, Japanese psych rock from the very early '70s that this came out. It was a fun fact. The original bassist, he went with the Red Army and hijacked an airplane. And now that's really radical. That's wow, talk about rock and roll, huh? Yeah, hey, Red Army, I'll help you, and let's just hijack a plane. So he did. He's not playing on this. But, so this is, they made these tapes. So, the Oz, so it's called the Oz tapes. The Oz was the name of a club in Tokyo. It was on the second floor. It was modeled after the Fillmore West. It actually opened about the time the Fillmore West was closing. And as you know, the Fillmore West, when they closed, they did this concert and they put out all this music. Well, they wanted something similar in Tokyo, so they came up with the Oz. It only lasted a year and a half, and then it was closing. So like the Fillmore West, they recorded a bunch of the artists. And one of them was this one, that the name that I cannot, I probably have a better chance with this one. Les Roses de Nudes. Yeah, okay, whatever. And this, and so they put this out, and the tapes have been lost for 50 years, and they found them. There's just these wild freakouts that are going on. But then some of the songs, when they start singing, it has this very dreamy type feel. So it gets totally different. There's shimmering squalls of this fuzz and feedback. Fascinating album. Really is. Look at that vibrant blue. Holy cow, that's neon electric blue. And it came, you have a book. And what's nice on here is it is, one side's in Japanese, one side's in English. So for me, I've been learning Japanese now. I just match up the words with the symbols, and it's coming along really well, I think. Probably by the year 2050, I'll have this down. So, neat book. Very, very nice what they added in on that. So, for those that do like the psych, the fuzz, and you know, this is really neat. Then those guitars just go crazy. And for a guy that doesn't like free jazz, I don't know, I just love it when guitars go stupid nuts. But interesting thing, the Oz tapes, really, really enjoyed that. Next, we have Jesse Aycock. You know, this is one of those last names. You got to be careful on how you're saying that. Or I mean, Aycock, my cock. I mean, it's, you know, yeah, it gets censored. Okay, this was sent to me from Michael from ML Blue 535. He is a musician. I've shown his music here before. Michael's been very good. He's sent me a number of new albums, some music that he's been enjoying. He goes, hey, I want you to hear this. And he's done it for a number of different people. He does have his channel is ML Blue 535. Please check it out. You can listen to his music. He plays a lot of psych. And really neat. Well, he sent me this, and this he's a multi-instrumentalist and actually an in-demand session musician. The music on here, it's quiet, it's peaceful music, it's lyrical, it's reflective. His voice, he has a higher tenor. And at first I thought, is that a female? It sounds like a female. Does he have a female singing? No, it is his voice. It is a higher tenor. The name of this album is Flower and Wounds. It came out in 2012, and it was actually recorded in Leon Russell's church studio. A lot of it, there's a lot of darkness in it. There's this quiet darkness. But quite honestly, it's where the album really shines. There is a few like up-tempo tunes, like Out to Space is a nice one. That's rather catchy, but for the most part, it's just this quieter, a little darker sound to it. Michael's note in there. Black vinyl, and it does come with an insert that I try to get out. There we go. So you do have the lyrics. This is just someone I had no idea. He's from Tulsa. He's still, I guess, in Tulsa, does concerts there, and well known within Tulsa. Obviously, he goes to Nashville, plays. So, great album. For those of you like this quieter sound, a little more folk type, this is a good one to check out. Jesse Aycock. So, thank you, Michael. Really, really neat. Time for your African album of the week. The African album of the week this week is, ready? Fela Kuti. Part of the reissue. This is Aphrodisiac. For a man that had over 70, 80 wives, Aphrodisiac really is, I think, just a great way to, a great album title, huh? So, this album came out in 1973. It's a 2-album set. It's based upon 45s that were done in Nigeria in 72. So a couple interesting things on here is, first, he sings in Nigerian. And a lot of his other albums later, he sang in English. It was to reach a wider audience. But on here, he's singing in Nigerian. He has 4 45s, which the 45s they must be 12-inch because or unless they were just cut down, because he does, it's a full side. It's like 15 minutes for a song. We have pretty vibrant colors here. The inserts, they're the same on both of them. A little bit about Aphrodisiac. It is a propulsion mixture of funk and African rhythms that are happening. Non-stop energy through the whole thing. It had its first hit, Chomp and Quench, though I really like Alou Jean Jonky John. That's the first one. Man, that thing has a great sound. A lot of these songs, there is just this wonderful interplay between the horns, the keys, and the drums, and it really gives us this jazz feel, but it still keeps it extremely danceable. It just, now that Chomp and Quench, I say it was Quench, it was his first hit, so 200,000 45s, whatever those were sold. So it was very, very popular. Of course, Fela went on, he kept, he became more and more political as he went, and got himself more and more trouble. So great stuff. Another wonderful reissue from coming out. And I don't know who's putting out all of these. It's made in Germany. Oh, the Knitting Factory. Knitting Factory is putting them out. Yeah, this is nice. This is a nice original. This is the Minutemen's, basically it's the Minutemen's last album when they were all alive. And the name of the album is Three-Way Tie for Last. Like a three-way tie for last. And the Minutemen of California, they formed in 80, officially broke up in 86, though kind of ended in 85. If you're unfamiliar with them, it's college rock, it's post-punk, it's hardcore punk. They were wildly eclectic with their music and very political. And they could jump anywhere from punk to free jazz to funk to folk. They would be all over the place. They were known as road warriors, constantly on the road, singing, pushing their music. Three-Way Tie, this came out in 1985. A few days later, let's see, D Boon right here, he passed away in an auto accident. And the band tried to go on, but wound up, they couldn't do it without D Boon, and they wound up making a new band, Firehose. I used to have a few of their CDs. The songs on here, they're smart, they're political, they're more structured, especially when you look at the earlier stuff. Mike Watt does one side, and D Boon does the other side of the writing. So Mike Watt was beginning to write a lot of music and become very prolific at it. This was their 10th album in 5 years. I think this is where King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, King Giz, came up with this. How many albums can we put out? On here, they do a cover of Creedence Clearwater, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? They also do a cover from Blue Oyster Cult, from Rocky Erickson, from the Meat Puppets. So they're looking at other music, but yet they're still doing a lot of their own. There's a lot of anti-war music songs in here. There are songs about Central American repression and, of course, political apathy. Very interesting. Here's all the lyrics of what they wrote. No special inner sleeve, SST. Important album, just for it's well done. You could just see this is not hardcore on here. They've slowed it down some, but it's becoming more about these lyrics and what's going on and trying to say, listen, we got a problem. And they were doing a great job with this. So really nice. Got this at my local store, Radio Wasteland. And it's just, I've never seen it in the wild. So beautiful, original, super clean. What time is it? It's time for Bootsy, baby. That's right. Here we go. William Collins. William Collins is his name. Born in Cincinnati in 1951. And I picked this up. But if we ever want to give a free advert, Rural Records. There we go. Rural Records in Grand Ledge. I did a store tour of that place a few weeks back on one of my midweeks. So that's where I picked this up at. Used to have this one. I guess it could have went to my used to have. So Bootsy Collins, funk R&B bassist. Everyone knows him. In 68, he started his first group, and what was it called? The Pace Setters. It was done in 68. And him and his brother Catfish started it. Hey, Cat, come on. There we go. And here's our host. He decided to wake up. Then in 69 to 71, he joined James Brown, and he really transformed James Brown. He brought hit the one. The beat is hit on the one. Really did a phenomenal job. Then he went with George Clinton and became part of Parliament Funkadelic, and he did his own offshoot, Bootsy Collins. Great stuff. This is a second album. My name is Bootsy, baby, which became kind of my catchphrase. My name's Bootsy, baby. This album went gold. It had their hit Pinocchio Theory was on here. Seminal hit, let's just say. Funk hit, probably R&B dance floor hit, like a lot of Parliament was. Would you just keep, now he wants me, feels I should pet him. The album is Party on a Platter. Best I can tell you. Party on a Platter. Infectious grooves are happening. There are humorous lyrics within here. George Clinton co-wrote some of these songs, and it's just essential 70s funk listening. If you love 70s funk, this is where it's at. You just don't come up and start making me want to do it. Thinking you should be pet. So, great stuff. Final albums here to show you today. We have from Harvey Mandel. He used to be obviously guitarist for Canned Heat. He worked with Charlie Musselwhite, John Mayhall. Born in Detroit in 1945, spent a lot of his childhood in Chicago. So this was one. I went again to my local store, Radio Wasteland. He has this. He puts this on and starts playing. I go, what is that? Wow, that sounds pretty good. And promptly gets me to buy it. So it did. This is his first album, Crystal Redentor, however it's pronounced. There you go, Crystal Redentor. The other one, this one came out in 1968. It's all instrumental except for one where he has a soprano in there singing. And I don't really like that one as much. But the other ones, the instrumentals, his guitar is on fire. It's very much of a psych feel. You know, he actually auditioned for the Rolling Stones when Mick Taylor left. Obviously, he didn't get it, but he did try. Way to go. He's put out 28 albums. In fact, in 2022, he has a CD that he put out there. But on this one, there's just smooth, fluid playing going on. It's just this, I guess, best describes tasteful distortion, if that's a thing. There is some use of strings within here, but it's mostly like a jazz rock fusion. Very neat, very cool. I really, really like this one. Then, this one came. This is his third album, and it has a cool hole punch in it. And so, Games guitar play. On here, he added a vocalist. He thought, maybe I need a vocalist. Quite honestly, the vocalist is okay. Gives it a blues rock type feel. And we're again, stop it. But it shines with his guitar playing. And the piece I'm going to give you is just of his guitar playing on there, not so much the vocalist. Because he's okay. But it is mostly blues and soul covers they're doing. So it's not original. There's more of a cover thing. Again, good stuff. And no special inner sleeve, just off the Phillips label. So Harvey Mandel, really nice. That's what we got for this week. Thank you again, as always, for dropping by. Cat appreciates it, though he's not looking at you because he's looking at my face. I think he reads lips. Maybe he doesn't hear well. It could be it. We'll have a midweek. I think we're going to do a record store tour at midweek, and things are brought back in my collection. So please drop by. Thank you so much. And now I'm going to go put on some heavy stuff because it is freezing cold. Thank you, Chris. Bye.